There's a dinosaur in the lake. Anyway, back to the river god. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Drip Podcast. This is a midweek mini show where me and Scott are going to delve into cryptids around the world. Sometimes, though, we might get more specific, like, I don't know, the northeast of England, but we'll also be a bit broad as well, where we'll be like, this week is, I don't know, Uganda. Who knows? But yeah, so that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. It's something that's been requested. And so basically Scott has scripted these episodes. I'm here to discuss and to delve into the cryptid phenomena, which I absolutely love. I would like to talk about one thing, which is cryptids related, before we get into it. Have you seen these AI videos that are like Bigfoot vlogs?
Yep, so I keep getting the Mothman ones suggested to me on TikTok.
Nice. Yeah, it's quite funny. Like, I know, like, people are, I know there's a discussion about the use of AI and stuff, but just how, like, funny they are, and just how it, like, leans into the mythology, but also is obviously utterly ridiculous. Like, there's one where this guy just finds, to quote the Bigfoot, a load of booger sugar and just smashes a load of cocaine. And it's just like going wild in the woods. But there's just so many of them. It's just really, really, it's really interesting, because it's like, where is that technology going to go? How far? Because obviously you can, it's a Bigfoot with a selfie stick and a GoPro on the end. So obviously that's not real. But, there will probably come a time quite quickly, quite soon, where there will be, footage of cryptids that are actually entirely AI, but you won't be able to tell.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting when we get to that point. I think, obviously, AI has a lot of potential in terms of kind of video making, especially things like that.
Yeah.
And although, like you said, the Bigfoot ones are quite lighthearted, it is, the fact that you can just completely generate that from the ground up means that we are going to get. I've seen some like AI generated news reports.
Yes, they're
where
scary.
You get the newswoman. So she's like, stood in front of a beach, and the kraken comes out behind her in one of them.
Yeah,
and it's like, hang on, if I didn't see a kraken coming out of the water, I could have believed that was a real. Yeah,
that's I think that's kind of the point of those videos, isn't it? It's like, look at this, it's a news report, and then it's actually like, no, this is AI, and you should be slightly nervous about that. But yeah, this wasn't to talk about AI necessarily. It was just, just the Bigfoot thing was just, they are very, very funny. And I keep getting suggested them on the Drip Paranormal Instagram. So, yeah. Cool. Okay. Where are you taking us, Scott?
So the first one we're going to do in this episode is Zimbabwe.
Oh, cool. Okay. I can safely say I don't think I know any Zimbabwe cryptids.
So this one was actually specifically requested
cool.
by Vinny Smith 6483 in the comments of one of the previous cryptid podcasts we did.
Nice. So there we go. If you'd like an area specifically looked at, let us know down below in the comments. Always helps us out.
And yeah, so this one, I've got a couple of cryptids from the Zimbabwe / the Zambezi River kind of area.
Okay.
A lot of the cryptids of Zimbabwe seem to kind of go between 5 or 6 countries in the kind of surrounding, around that area.
Like Africa. Roaming around.
Yeah, they're not like native to a specific country. Like this one that I'm about to do here follows the Zambezi River through its various countries that kind of hits.
Okay, that's fair. That's fine.
But yeah, so the first one is, and this one I need to work out to say, the Nyami Nyami.
Nyami Nyami. How are we spelling that?
Nyami Nyami.
Nice. Okay.
It's a good one, which I hadn't actually said out loud until then.
Yeah, I wonder if the N is silent. It might be, it might not be.
Oh, yummy. That sounds
Yeah.
Yeah, that does sound better.
What
If it isn't, it should be.
what sort of creature is a let's go for just for ease, let's go for Nyami Nyami. What sort of creature is a Nyami Nyami?
So the Nyami Nyami is a creature that lives in the Zambezi River
Okay.
and is a serpent-like sea creature described by the people of the surrounding the Zambezi as being a river god.
A river god. Nice.
So in its description,
Sorry, dude. That's just beautiful. I like how they're like, look at the, it's a serpent creature. It's one of a kind. Well, kind of with this, it's giving me Loch Ness vibe, but that's kind of part of my point, and they're like, this is a serpent god. We're going to put so much respect on it. It's a god. It's a god of the river that we live by. And then you've got Loch Ness. They're like, it's a fucking dinosaur in the lake. It's just like, what the fuck, man?
yeah,
You don't hear them calling it a god, but they should.
No, they go out with shotguns to try and find it.
Yeah, they shoot the fucking kid. It's like, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Anyway, back to the river god.
So the Nyami Nyami is believed to be a colossal serpent-like creature, described as having a long snake-like body, and the head that is described as resembling either, and these are two very different things, so there's quite a big...
Nice.
So on the reason it's either described as having the head of either a fish,
right,
which makes sense, it's in the water,
yeah,
or a dragon. Quite distinct,
yeah,
I would say.
They are... Yeah, I'm trying to draw
I'm picturing there, but... Gyarados.
Yeah, that works. Fish, dragon.
Kind of the mix of the two is what I've got in my head.
Oh, man. Imagine if the Nyami Nyami is just Gyarados. Gyarados?
Yeah, one of them.
Dos. You'd say dos, not dos. Or is it dos, tres? What's the first? What's one?
Un.
Is un? Un, dos. Is it?
Un? Is there an E?
Oh, I don't know. That's a howler, that is.
Let us know in the comments.
I guess some people say dos.
Mm-hmm.
Gyarados. I say Gyarados. But I wouldn't say dos tres. I'd say dos tres.
Yeah, I don't really say it out loud to know how I say it.
Uno? Uno dos tres. Uno, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
Of course it is, because it's fucking Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, I was thinking of French. That's a long language.
Damn it.
So yeah, it's described as having the head of a fish or a dragon.
Nice.
And being colossal, which to me is very big.
Yeah. That's Gyarados, mate.
Yeah, that is now I've said it, that is just what I'm picturing.
Yeah, literally. That's so cool.
It's said to live deep within the depths of the river and its interconnected lakes.
Nice.
When the Kariba Dam was built in the late 1950s, which is a dam that crosses over the Zambezi River, many of the locals believed that the Nyami Nyami was angered by the flooding and displacement that this caused.
Right.
Shortly after the construction of the dam began, severe floods and other natural disasters struck the area, which some interpreted as the river god's wrath.
Interesting.
Which I think is quite cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it being so mad that they're messing with its river.
Yeah, it's like, we're going to fuck shit up.
There was another story of kind of local folklore from Zimbabwe and the surrounding areas of where this creature can be found. That the creature, when the dam was built, was separated from its wife.
Right, okay.
And that's why it was so enraged, because there were two of them. And they put this big concrete thing in between them. And now, in its anger, it kind of went around causing floods and storms and other natural disasters.
Plausible reason. That's why you don't fuck with rivers.
Yeah. So sightings and story of the creature persist among local fishermen and communities to this day, with occasional reports of strange ripples and giant shadows beneath the surface of the water, as well as eerie sounds echoing across the river at night.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking creepy.
Yeah. So what do you think of the first? That's the first one. That's the Nyami Nyami.
I mean, I love it. I've seen, videos of where you see these rivers and then there's like a dark shadow underneath and stuff. And pretty sure, sometimes it can be like a big anaconda or something like that. But still, it's not ideal. Either way.
Yeah, like I wouldn't want to be sailing a boat over it. You particularly wouldn't want to be sailing a boat over it.
No, absolutely not. That would absolutely suck. I must say, I saw what's that game? The Nautica one.
Subnautica.
Subnautica 2 is coming out, I think, or Subnautica 3, whichever. Yep. Yeah, I might have to get that plan. Yeah. But I've also got, which I need to play, which I may have played by the time this comes out. Although probably not likely. It's a game called Sharks and Minnows.
Okay.
It's an indie horror game where basically it's like a swimming pool, and the aim of the game is to swim 10 lengths of this swimming pool, and every time it's a thalassophobia simulator. So every time you swim a length, the pool gets darker, more things go into it, and I think like towards the end of your lengths, if you survive, you basically end up in like it's like a dream where things change, and you basically end up, I think, in the ocean by the end of it, and it's all very dark and scary and horrible.
What is the kind of, obviously because you have thalassophobia?
I'm not keen on it, yeah.
What is kind of the, where's the kind of cut-off for where that starts? Obviously, you're fine in the bathtub.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not even like necessarily like deep water like a swimming pool at all. It's like, it's more just the ocean when you look down and it's just black. That's how it happened. I was on holiday when I was a kid in like Mallorca or somewhere, and we were on a boat trip, and then they were like, "Oh, we're just gonna stop the boat here if you'd like to jump off." And I jumped off the boat and landed in the water, obviously, and then I had goggles on and I just opened my eyes under the water and it was just black. And it's like, well, that is fucking horrendous.
Yeah, so it is just that looking down and not being able to see what's beneath you, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that wasn't ideal in the slightest. And so that's basically where it came from. And apparently it's very common. I mean, it makes sense because it's the fear of the unknown, I think, more than anything. Because we also don't know what's under the oceans.
Yeah, we know so little about what's down there. There are some more sea creatures coming in this series.
Oh, nice.
Possibly including the next one, which is
cool.
The Chipekwe.
Chipekwe? What's a Chipekwe?
I think that's how it's pronounced. It's another famous cryptid in Zimbabwe as well as in the neighbouring Zambia.
Okay.
The creature is likened to a dinosaur, and the name essentially translates to water monster.
Right. Nice.
Now, specifically water monster and not sea creature, or not sea monster, because this one doesn't go under the water.
Oh.
This is a surface level water monster.
Right.
And it's commonly reported around the Bangwelu wetlands, as well as in lakes and rivers around the countries and across several other African nations. There are three creatures, because the name Chapekway is kind of an umbrella term that does just mean water monster. A couple of different creatures have kind of been included under that same bracket of name.
Okay.
They all share a lot of similarities, but there's a couple of distinctions. So the first of these is a large and tough amphibious animal with smooth, hairless skin that's always distinguished by a large horn, tusk, or rhinoceros-like horns, which are alleged to be smooth white ivory.
Okay.
Basically, it's just a big rhino.
On the water.
Kind of, I guess in the water, but I think they're saying it's so large, it's like bigger than an elephant kind of size. No one's really described it with an actual measurement other than just saying it's very large.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how is this one hidden? Because obviously cryptids, like they're very,
Yeah, I think because this lives kind of in the wetlands, which I guess are relatively uninhabited, kind of swampy, marshy kind of areas. But again, I did think if it's that big, surely it would be seen.
and be common knowledge.
Yeah. But that's one of the three descriptions. The other two, or at least one of the other two, I think is a lot easier to be hidden.
Right, okay.
So earlier accounts of this creature gave it multiple horns, occasionally up to 3, but usually only a single horn, which is the most common sighting of it. The Twa people, who inhabit the remote wetlands in Zambia, described the Chipekways as resembling a rhinoceros. So as resembling a rhinoceros calf.
Right.
So a baby rhino.
Mm-hmm.
But being hairy and with a longer neck.
Right. So it's like a giraffe rhino hybrid.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that one. I could see, if it's the size of a baby rhino or a kid rhino, I could see it.
Yeah.
Remaining hidden easier.
Okay, that's fascinating.
And an alleged eyewitness from the Bangwalu wetlands gave a different description. This is the third one.
Yeah.
Alleging that the Chapekway was a large flippered animal with long tusks or fangs as opposed to horns. And like the previous informant who gave the second description, he claimed that it was also covered in shaggy hair instead of smooth skin.
Okay, so we've got some very, very conflicting reports, which isn't uncommon in cryptids, unfortunately, which is quite strange. You'd think, like, rather than giving this name to these different looking creatures, just get another name, and then have more cryptids.
Yeah.
But yeah, right, okay. The thing that's getting me is that it's not underwater. That this thing is just like in the water, and it's not.
It's kind of like
very well hidden.
It feels very hippo-like.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it can still be elusive. I don't know how large these wetlands are. I'd imagine they're quite vast. To be fair.
I mean, to be fair, Bigfoot walks on land, and he's relatively elusive.
Yeah, but he's in the mountains or in like the forests and stuff, and it's like, if this is just I mean, maybe it's like swampy, maybe there's reeds to hide in. I just basically imagine a giant expanse of water, and this thing's just floating on the top, and it's like, how the fuck has no one documented this thing?
That's kind of what I'm picturing too. To be fair,
yeah,
I'm picturing like the stereotypical like River Nile kind of scene of you can just see from one side to the other, and it's just in the middle bobbing around.
Yeah, I think, Scott, you've actually got a bit of fluff on your face. I've just noticed it. Can you see it on the other side? There, there it is. There, you got it. That was just a little bit of fluff. Have you got like? It's not a problem. Hey, we're fucking. We're gonna get through it. But is there like some work being done outside your house or something?
I think that's the boiler.
That's the boiler. Is your boiler broken? That has never happened before.
No, I think it's doing something. I think the heat might be. They started doing it about 4 minutes into this episode, I think.
God damn it!
I was hoping you couldn't
turn
hear
your boiler off. It's weird. It's like it dips in and out. Is it doing that for you, or is that like your mic?
No, my mic's kind of not picking it up. I think it's when I make a noise, the mic picks it up.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Hey, I'm sure people at home are absolutely fine. But I just wanted to know what that fucking noise was.
Yeah. So I think it's probably the heat.
Or your boiler is about to explode.
It's a possibility. I've got 2 more from Zimbabwe. These 2 are a bit shorter.
Okay.
So we've got the Kongamato.
Kongamato. How are we spelling that?
Kongamato.
Exactly how I thought it would be spelled. Mm-hmm. What's a Kongamato?
So the Kongamato. So we've had a sea creature. We've had a kind of on the water creature.
Yeah. Now we have a
flying
tomato
creature
from Congo.
We've got a winged creature.
Nice.
The skies above the Zambezi.
Yeah.
The Zambezi and Zimbabwe look too similar to my eyes to differentiate.
Yeah.
So the skies above the Zambezi and northern Zimbabwe are rumoured to be haunted by a terrifying flying creature known as the Kongamato.
Nice.
Descriptions portray it as a large, leathery winged creature resembling a pterosaur.
Pterosaur. Sound like a
So-
pterodactyl?
Yeah, big dinosaur bird.
Nice.
A flying reptile from the time of the dinosaurs.
This thing has
Witnesses
survived
report.
millions of years.
I mean, this is the second one in a row we've had from Zimbabwe that's described as being a dinosaur that's still kicking about.
Yeah, quite a lot of cryptids are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, especially the sea ones.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to be those, what are they called? The fucking...
Yeah, plesiosaurs.
Yeah.
I think the sea ones and the air ones are normally, people just go, yeah, it's just a dinosaur.
Yeah. True.
So wingspans are reported to be anywhere between 4 and 7 feet.
Okay.
So it's not as big as Mothman.
How big's Mothman?
Mothman, I think, has got a 10-foot wingspan.
Fucking hell.
If I remember from the rap that I wrote.
Nice.
Which is the only way I can remember his wingspan.
Yeah.
It's regarded as having a large beak or a snout in some instances. Again, feels very pterodactyl.
Yeah, opposite.
And sharp teeth and reddish or black skin without feathers.
Fucking hell, this thing sounds a bit scary.
What I'm picturing, and this might throw off your scary plan, you know Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
You know the live-action movies, they've got the... in one of them, they had the kind of winged creature in the museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm picturing that.
Okay.
Very kind of bat-like.
Yeah.
Unlike birds, it's said to have membranous wings like a bat.
Cool.
Sightings have been sporadic but persistent, with early colonial reports and indigenous accounts describing encounters with a bird-like creature that attacks boats and flips them.
Jesus Christ.
As well as lone travellers. Some cryptozoologists suggest that it could be a surviving prehistoric species, while others view it as purely mythological.
Interesting. So, the strength to flip a boat, that's quite exceptional.
Yeah, I guess it depends what kind of boat, but yeah, generally either way.
Yeah, for
sure. You need some strength.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's that one. I mean, like I say, I've got less on it than the others, but it is just something that's potentially roaming the air of Zimbabwe.
Yeah. Basically a fucking giant pterodactyl.
Yeah, pretty much.
And just survived the meteor.
Yeah. And then the final one is more of a supernatural being than a out-and-out cryptid.
Right.
It's one of the most widespread supernatural beings in Zimbabwean and as well as broader South African folklore.
Uh-huh.
And this is the Tokoloshe.
Tokoloshe.
The Tokoloshe is typically described as a small, dwarf-like humanoid creature, often hairy and grotesque in appearance. Some accounts say it has long, sharp claws, red glowing eyes, and a gremlin-like body, while others claim it can appear almost childlike, but with malicious intent.
Some children are little gremlins.
One of its most notable traits is its ability to become invisible to adults.
Handy.
While it would then only be visible to children or those with special spiritual sensitivity.
Okay.
So I guess psychics, but I guess you wouldn't consider them psychics necessarily, but yeah, people that are more attuned.
Attuned to with their third eye, I believe they call it.
Yes.
They do say kids can see stuff that we can't, which is why they're kind of staring off into fucking space all the time.
That's why they say about imaginary friends.
Yes, and that's why they also say that children are away with the fairies.
Oh. Is that a thing? That makes sense.
I mean, it's a saying. I just put two and two together there.
I mean...
I said it with conviction, though.
I believe it.
That's it. Sometimes that's all you got to do.
Despite its small stature, the Tokoloshe is believed to be incredibly powerful. It can pass through walls, manipulate objects, and torment people in their sleep, causing anything from nightmares and sleep paralysis to illness or death.
What the hell?
It's a hell of a range.
Yeah, isn't it?
In some variations, it has a single eye.
Ooh,
Cyclops. And the or is a little bit.
Or 50,000 eyes.
Or even a hole in its forehead.
Oh.
Through which it can suck the life from a person.
Jesus fucking
like
Christ.
A Dementor in Harry
This
Potter.
is a little bastard, this thing.
fear of the Tokoloshe has led to cultural practices like raising beds on bricks to prevent nighttime attacks. Often associated with black magic or vengeful spirits, the Tokoloshe remains a potent symbol of fear and superstition in many rural African communities.
I was going to say, that rings a bell, because I'm pretty sure there's something similar in South African folklore, because I know that my dad has spoken up to me about how in South Africa they would elevate their beds because of this little fucker that would, like, little goblin thing.
Yeah,
So it must be that.
I would say it's probably that one then.
Wow. Creepy, man. That one's horrible.
Yeah.
They're all, I mean, I wouldn't want to meet any of them, but...
Yeah, which one would you like to meet the least?
Probably that little fucker.
I feel like if I saw like a giant bat creature coming towards me, it's like, okay, there is something, I
True.
can see
like
it.
if a bat's coming towards me, I'm like, oh, fuck. But if that little thing, I mean, I'd probably just try boot it.
Yeah, but again, I think the bat and the other two aren't going to sneak up on me while I'm sleeping.
Yeah. I mean,
Whereas
this thing's going to be invisible. You can't even see it.
True.
So you're an adult.
Yeah.
But
you, I mean, you might be able to, because you do have a relative somewhere on the line that might have.
My great-great-grand auntie, if that's the thing.
So you might see the Tokoloshe coming.
Great auntie. I might be able to. Can you imagine that if I'm actually just in tune with like fucking creatures and shit?
That would be a plot twist.
That'd be sick as fuck. So this has been Zimbabwe. It's been very fun.
Zimbabwe.
Wow. It's so cool, like all the different cultures and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think what's going to be cool with this series potentially is seeing the overlap throughout different cultures. Like, one of the things that fascinates me is how, like, you've got the ancient Welsh depiction of a dragon, and then you also have the ancient Chinese depiction of a dragon. And then you've got, like, I know this isn't a cryptid, but you've got, the similarities in the like pyramids of Giza, and then like the Aztec pyramids and stuff like that. So I like it when cultures inexplicably cross over.
One of my favorite examples of that is like the Bigfoot kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So when you have Bigfoot, obviously Yeti, skunk ape, and kind of other various creatures that are almost definitely the same thing, but just in like camouflaged for their specific environment.
Yeah, and been, spoken about for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, potentially before those cultures even crossed over. So
I mean, you look at a lot of the tribes, kind of in the American tribes that were Native American tribes that didn't have any communication with outsiders.
Yeah,
they almost all have the same set of kind of deity or mythological kind of.
Yeah. There's so much crossover. It's so strange. Yeah. It's almost like there has to be something. There has to be an answer to it. It's not just like some dude 1,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago making up a story at a campfire, and then just so happened the other side of the world someone's doing the same. Strange, man. It's strange. But this has been fun. I really like it. It was the first one of our cryptid series. I promised you it would come, and I think we're going to do. I think it's good to get a number on it so we can lock in. I think we're going to do 6 episodes, aren't we, to start? Yeah. Then, obviously, if you guys enjoy it or whatever, we can expand from there. But, yeah, okay, cool. So, to give people a teaser, Scott, where are we going to be next week?
So, next week we are going to the home of the vampire.
Oh.
And kind of Dracula's castle and, things like that.
Nice. Did you know that I am slightly Romanian? That's convenient, isn't it?
I did not, but so that is where we're going.
Talking about my ancestors' culture next week. How fun. Cool. That's going to be awesome. Listen, if you want to support the podcast, support what we do, head over to patreon.com/Dudey Rhino. Also, expressvpn.com/Dudey Rhino. Okay, get yourself protected online. And also, if you like Netflix and stuff, but you're bored of the movies on there, get ExpressVPN, change your location to a different country, bish, bash, bosh. You've got a whole set of new films and stuff. All right, brilliant. Thank you, Scott.
No worries.
Thank you, everyone at home. Like, share, subscribe. Give us 5 stars on Spotify. It all helps. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.